I have a long-standing personal battle with a certain character trait I possess. It is a trait that has developed from good intention, but we know that good intentions don't always lead to the greatest good for all involved. This trait is a result of my value system, which, again, originates from goodness. Honesty. It's pretty important to me, part of the values I hold dear, but this often leads to me speaking what I feel is true. If you're wondering what trait I'm referring to, it's that, speaking truthfully and sincerely. Now, on the surface, that seems like a fairly good way to be, to speak truth, to express verbally what is on your mind and in your heart. But I've been taught many times in life that there's a proper time and place for that. And I continue to have these lessons presented to me. So obviously, I haven't quite fully grasped what I'm supposed to get out of it yet. It's like repeatedly stubbing your toe on that piece of furniture in the middle of the night. You know it's there. You know it hurts like crazy to hit it. Yet somehow, you forget and do it all over again and again and again. Well, that's me with my inability to properly shape what, when, and how I say things. Or to know when it's just better to not say anything at all. At my core, I'm a die-hard introvert. For me, talking to people is hard. Speaking to a group is almost unbearable. Yet for most of my adult life, I have held positions that required me to talk to large gatherings of people. I was a taekwondo instructor when I was in high school. I was a teacher for many years in the Air Force. I was also a leader at several levels in the military, which necessitated me speaking to large groups almost daily. And I've had several other opportunities to speak in front of people, again, for much of my adult life. Well, what the heck, Aaron? Looks like you've made some unwise life choices if you have to speak so often in front of people when you aren't comfortable doing it. Well, that's part of the attraction to it, I guess. It scares me. I mess it up often. I'm uncomfortable with it. I'm really not great at it, so I suppose it's the challenge that pulls me in. Anyway, I'm starting to realize more often where I screw up in these little speaking opportunities. So on that note, this week, I literally just happened upon a list of rules for when to stay silent. I feel like they could really help me with some of my talking faux pas, so maybe they can help you too. Be silent if you can't talk without yelling. Now, this could be literally in a loud room where it's hard to hear, or from another angle, in a one-on-one conversation that has turned emotional, where the inclination is to just say your thing louder to make your point. Be silent in the heat of anger. Similar to the last point, but more focused on your perspective in the discussion. If your whole point in the conversation is simply to unload hate on someone, it might be better to keep your mouth shut. Those talks rarely end productively. Be silent if your words can offend someone. Not necessarily talking emotional now, but insensitive. Not being cognizant of who is listening or how they may receive your message. This is where I mess up often. I don't mean to offend, but sometimes I just throw words out there with the best intentions, not thinking about how someone else might take it. Be silent if your words can destroy a friendship. Imagine how many friendships have been destroyed because of thoughtless statements made. So many times we say things that, once said, we wish we could pull them back. That's impossible. Forgiveness is possible, but to unspeak words is not. Be silent if your silence can save a relationship. There are situations where the relationship just might need to be severed and the truth spoken, but I believe those are few and far between. If the relationship is important, but the topic on your mind isn't, and it will likely create division, maybe just let it stay unspoken. Be silent if you don't know the full story. Now, this is a big one for me, and for many people, I think. We get part of the story, make up assumptions for the rest, and let our version of the story fly to whoever will listen. This is very dangerous, especially because the assumptions we make are based on our life experiences, our perspectives, not those of the person we are referring to in our half story. Be silent if speaking will only serve to boost your ego or to seek validation. Guilty again. I feel like I'm a humble person, but when I'm paying close attention, I catch myself inadvertently doing just this. I don't like the feeling when I pick up on this about myself. Be silent if your words can betray someone's trust. This one should be a no-brainer, but then again, I guess these all could be. Trust is a hard thing to develop and maintain. Once it's betrayed, especially because of something that is said about another, it's almost impossible to regain. Be silent when you lack knowledge about a topic. We all know people like this. I'm not saying they're bad people, just that there are folks who speak about a thing and it's painfully obvious to everyone listening that they really don't know what the heck they're talking about. Be silent when someone is sharing their personal struggles or vulnerabilities. This is a time to just listen. Don't give advice, and definitely don't do the one-up game, yeah, I totally understand. I had this one thing happen to me too, and it affected me like this, etc. That's rarely helpful. It diminishes whatever was being shared with you as less important than your story. So that's the list. Not all-encompassing, of course, but pretty helpful, I think, at least for me. Now, to see if I can actually put this advice into practice so I can stop being presented this lesson over and over again in my life.